Before boarding, I noticed something strange. My flight number was 115, and today's date was exactly October 15. The plane's departure time was delayed due to weather, to exactly 10,015. These coincidences made me uneasy. Just before boarding, I asked the captain if everything was okay.
Good flight today?
No, very good. Welcome aboard.
Thank you.
After receiving a reassuring answer, then I finally felt at ease and got on the plane. Once seated, I found a recorder in the seat pocket in front of me. Out of curiosity, I put on the headphones to hear what it was about. The recording described events that were exactly in line with the flight attendant's demonstration, even mentioning that it was starting to rain outside. I quickly pulled back the window shade, and sure enough, it was pouring rain. Then the recording continued. The plane would disappear in an hour. Suddenly, there was a violent shake, and I jumped from my seat, rushed to the restroom, and forced myself to calm down. When I returned to my seat, I fastened my seatbelt. I picked up the recorder again, and it kept playing, mentioning that the plane would lose contact at 11,005. Fear spread through me, and I was sweating heavily, looking around in growing unease. I knew I couldn't just wait and do nothing. Once everyone had fallen asleep, I quietly moved around the cabin. The recording also mentioned that before the plane disappears, the captain would say, "Good night, New York." Then the plane would completely vanish. At that moment, the captain came over, seeing that I was acting strangely, and led me aside. He thought I was having a mental breakdown. I looked at my watch and begged the captain not to say the words, "Good night, New York." Everyone thought I was crazy, and suddenly, my hands were handcuffed. A woman revealed herself as a police officer because I had threatened the safety of the flight. The air marshal forcibly restricted my movement and took me back to my seat. I looked at the time on the plane, and my unease grew stronger. The captain came over and called the air marshal aside. Just then, a man named John sat next to me. He believed everything I said. Finally, I got confirmation. I learned that John used to be a pilot. Then, I came up with a plan. If we took control of the plane, he could change its direction to avoid disaster. But John said that was impossible, because the cockpit required a password. I looked at the recorder and it displayed 1015. Suddenly, I had an idea, thinking that this was the password. John believed me. With less than a minute until 11,005, I felt confident as I watched John. He walked toward the cockpit, entered 1015, and successfully opened the door. Then, a violent struggle erupted inside the cockpit. Suddenly, a voice of thanks came through the screen. When I heard those words, I finally realized the person who made the plane disappear was standing right in front of me.
Good night, New York.
I was driving on the fucking highway. The road was empty, but up ahead, a truck was crawling like a damn turtle. I was in a hurry to get home. My mom was still waiting in bed. I hit the gas and overtook the truck. But then, the truck blared its horn and charged after me. It pulled ahead again and blocked the road. I didn't want trouble, so I stayed behind and drove slowly, but something was off. Every time I slowed down, he did too. He kept blocking my way. I tried to speed up and pass him, but in my mirror, I saw him chasing again, this time closer. So fucking close, he was almost on my bumper. I tensed up faster and faster. I hit 120, but he was still right there, like a maniac. He pulled up beside me, driving parallel. I slammed the brakes and dropped behind. Then he stuck his hand out, waving me to pass. I froze, but I thought of my mom. I had to get home. So I pushed the gas and tried to pass again. Halfway through, he sped up too. He had no intention of letting me by. My heart was racing. I stared at the truck. Didn't even notice the car coming toward me. I slammed the brakes. Barely missed a crash. If I hadn't reacted in time, I wouldn't be here now. I pulled over, gasping for air. I needed to breathe. Let him go first. 30 minutes later, I started driving again. Slower this time. Careful. No sign of the truck. I thought I'd finally shaken him. Then suddenly, the roar came back from behind. I checked the mirror. Same truck. Chasing again. My stomach dropped. He was even more fucking insane this time, slamming the horn, locked on my tail. Then he rammed. I jolted forward in my seat. I accelerated again, but he stayed right behind, like a rabid dog. Snow was falling. The road was slick. I swerved, trying to lose him, trying to slip behind him, but he wouldn't let up. He stayed on me, like I was his fucking target. I tried to see his face, but all I could catch was the top of his head. My gut twisted. Then I saw a sign, a cafe, 5 kilometers ahead. Like a lifeline, I sped toward it, but it was freezing cold. My tires slipped. The car was losing grip. I slowed down, and he slammed me again. Torres. I lost control. The wheel jerked. My car flew off the road, smashed into a snowbank, stopped. Everything went black. I don't know how long I was out. But when I came to, I saw the cafe. The guy was still alive. I stumbled inside, sat down, looked up. The truck was parked outside. I get it. My heart pounded. He was here. I looked around, searching for the driver. Asked the waitress for help. She rolled her eyes. Didn't care. Because I hadn't ordered anything. I felt cold inside. No one would help me. I glanced out again. The truck was gone. I waited a while, but my mom was still waiting. I had to go. Just as I was leaving, I saw a cop. Told him everything, but the truck was already gone. There was nothing he could do. I got back on the road. Night fell. Fewer cars. Less light. I prayed he wouldn't come back, but of course, he did, like a ghost, silently creeping up. Night made it worse, too dangerous to fight back. So I came up with a plan. I floored it, sped as fast as I could. He followed. Right then, I hit the brakes, spun the wheel, a perfect drift. He shot past me, missed. While he turned around, I slipped into a side road, cut the engine. He'd thought I'd lost him, but he found me again, stopped right at the exit. I had no choice, took a narrow back road, but he knew it too. Caught up again. Then I remembered a road from when I was a kid. My mom once took me there. I dove into it. I saw a sign, ice ahead. Got an idea. No more running. Time to end this. I slowed down, stopped, started again, luring him in. Then I turned onto an ice-covered path, pulled on my gloves, clot ready. Right as he closed in, I jumped out. The truck smashed into the ice. A loud crash. The ice cracked open, swallowed him whole, and I finally made it home safe.
I was bitten by a poisonous snake. In panic, I grabbed my phone to call for help, but my hand trembled and the phone fell into a crack in the rocks. With no choice, I gritted my teeth and sucked the poison out of the wound. Staying conscious as best I could, I forced myself to run back to the cabin in the woods. I couldn't afford to collapse outside and be eaten by wild animals. Soon, my breath grew shallow and my mind began to fade. I couldn't hold on any longer and passed out completely. I don't know how long it was before I woke up from my coma. To my surprise, I hadn't died. My wound had almost healed as well. But to be sure, I decided to go to the hospital for a checkup. It was then I noticed the dust covering my car. I wiped the window quickly, didn't think too much, and drove straight to the town. But once I entered the town, my heart sank. The streets were completely empty. What should have been a bustling place was scattered with abandoned supplies. I walked closer and saw a body on the ground. Its skin had turned black. The flies circling it told me it had been dead for a long time. It was then that I realized things were far worse than I had imagined. I quickly got back into the car and headed home. It wasn't until I heard the radio that I learned I had been unconscious for 3 weeks. During that time, a deadly virus had spread across the world. It spread fast, with a high mortality rate, and humanity was on the brink of extinction. I couldn't believe it. I hurried home, but when I saw my parents' bodies, I had to face the truth. I thought there might be other survivors. So, I started searching the town, but all I found were ruins everywhere. I decided to drive to the big city and keep searching. However, the city was still eerily silent. Many devices were still running, but the bright lights in this quiet environment looked strangely ominous. I finally gave up. Exhausted, I went to a 5-star hotel and soaked in a hot spring. Then, I returned to my room naked and poured myself a drink.
Make mine a double.
It was then that I noticed there were other survivors. I hurriedly covered myself in embarrassment. Through their words, I finally understood everything. The government had tried to stop the virus from spreading, but all the vaccines were ineffective. The virus's mortality rate and contagion were much higher than expected, and humanity was wiped out before anyone even had time to react. No one knows how they survived. The man believed we were chosen ones, whether it was due to immunity or some other reason. He said we could use